Welcome home, Raiders. This week, more of the latest news from the Alpha, your questions, the BattleNet news, and so much more. Happy Feast of Wintervale. This is CTR 205.
You're listening to Convert to Raid, the podcast for raiders in the World of Warcraft.
The Convert to Raid podcast power station in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is December 15th, 2015. It's now, 9:10 p.m. Thanks for joining us from all around World of Warcraft land. And hello, my name is Pat Crane. I am the host of this wintry party tonight. Sure, we'll call it that. Why not?
Wintervale.
It's the last show of the year for CTR. So let's bring in the players. And up first, we'll go to cool California. To Terry's.
It's a little bit wintry here. I think it's even warmer where you are than it is here, which is a little weird.
No, it's not. It's 30s, but it's not snowy.
Okay.
So you're
it's
okay.
Definitely not Christmas here, though. I don't feel like Christmas here.
No. Let's go to the land of ice and snow right now. The only part of the country that really is. And we'll go to the line of sight gaming guy here, Tattva. Hey, man.
Hey guys, what's going on?
You got your winter hat on. You got 30 inches of snow.
Yeah, it's insane. It was basically overnight.
It's good.
Gnarly.
That's
good.
good.
It's fun. It's way fun.
It's living in the mountains, man. I'm telling you.
That's right.
And we also have with us from Lords of the Storm, the podcast all about heroes. It's Gizmo.
Hello, what's up, guys? It is not as cold here, apparently, because I feel like it's like 110 degrees in my room right now. So got my hipster sleeveless shirt on.
Well, you got to do something. You got to do something. I don't know. Well, welcome, fellas. And like I was saying, this is the last show of the year. Everything seems to be kind of winding down right now. I mean, when we'll talk about Alpha here in a little bit, but that's winding down. Overwatch is done for the year. so sad, and everybody's crying. Everybody's like, "Oh no, how dare you!" And everybody's doing the holiday thing, family, and all the Wintervale things that you do. But let's talk a little bit about what's been going on this week for you guys in game. And Darius, let's start with you. What have you been up to, man?
Well, over the weekend, I dinged 32.
Hey, awesome.
So
in
my
what?
birthday.
That's right. In the RL. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my birthday.
I should actually give you that. There we go.
Yay.
Congratulations.
It was weird because I didn't even hear the sound. I didn't get any new spells.
You didn't get an achievement.
I got nothing. Yeah.
Well, it was, 32 isn't really that exciting. 40, you get the fast mount, so that's good.
It's a lot more exciting in game to level up.
Yeah, it's a lot faster too.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm okay with that part.
Yep. Most people are. That's cool.
But yeah, did that and did some more moose runs.
Yep.
We're up over 100 people that we've gotten a moose for, so we're chugging right along, and that's been a lot of fun. And I've been playing. Well, I don't want to say what I've been playing. It's a game outside of the Blizzard ecosystem. I'll just leave it at that.
That may be a competitor with I don't know, one of the games in the Blizzard universe.
Yeah, it's a.
Oh yeah, you suck.
So, that's the way it goes. Sure.
It's yeah.
Yes, it's laugh out loud.
I got we'll just say it's quite funny.
It is
I got a lot of hate
out.
from Giz actually.
It's terrible.
When I was playing it, a lot of hate, a lot of personal attacks. Giz is not very happy.
They were justified.
But it's Tattva's fault. He did it. He convinced me.
You're the one that got the statue. It's not my fault. I hadn't played that game in like 6 months.
Yeah,
you bring it back into my
you slid
orbit.
right back down that rabbit hole real fast.
Yeah, bad.
I haven't played that game in like 2 years, not since Torage tore me a new one. I was playing with him. Oh, man. All right. And Tattva, let's go to you. What have you been up to in game?
Yeah, I've just been helping more moose runs. I mean, that's been a lot of fun, just kind of just plugging through those or whatever. I mean, like the nice thing is like I don't have to do any of the work, like A-Comp, and is it mainly just him that's kind of running the show?
Well, it's him, and
he set it up.
Yeah, he set it all up, and so I mean, big thanks to A-Comp. That's how he pronounces his name. I pronounce it A-Comp.
A-Comp. Like everyone in this room right now will be calling him A-Comp.
Right.
You must.
Exactly. You must. But it was basically him, and he heard that we were thinking about doing that, and he said, well, why don't I just set it up? And so he set it up, and we had, at one point over 400 people signed up to do it. Now it's still over 300 people. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's still a lot of people. And the sign up is down for those guys that don't know. And for the next couple of weeks, the team is on break for the holidays just because, hey, it's tough to line up, 20, 25 people to help folks run through that stuff. So, but they'll pick it up after the holidays and yeah, it's been pretty cool too. I've been watching the streams and hanging out a little bit and seeing, like the guys from Alone are helping out from around the server, and
Vodka.
Some guys from Vodka showed up, right?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. How did those guys show up? Was it you, Darius? Was it
that was Tattva, I think. Did you bring or Tovo?
Yeah, maybe Tovo.
It was Tovo. Because Tovo's good friends with Killers.
Oh, okay.
Who's still in Vodka, so he invited a couple of them.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like the who's who in raiding.
Yeah, people love it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The weird thing too is like, even though we're carrying people, like we keep beating our best times, which is kind of funny. Like it doesn't make any sense. I think one of our, I mean, like we're not high end by any means. Like we did 3 out of 13 mythic. I mean, but like these other guys, like when they come and help out, like the DPS is just through the roof. So it's kind of funny. I think our best one, we killed Archimon like right after the second Banish group came out. And so it was just like, oh, okay, well, that's done. Sweet.
Yeah. Well, on to the next group. Let's line them up.
Darius and I don't get the suicide group together when you guys do that.
Speaking of, I hear that some people are also messing with A-Comp while he's setting up groups and stuff like that and trying to kill him and
oh yeah, that's half the fun I have.
Well, just grab them and toss them around. That's cool. That's fun.
But yeah, so I mean, mainly just moose runs in game. I actually forgot to log in and get my mythic cash. Like I could do that right now.
What?
Anyways, yeah. But then, like, just in Salt Lake, we do this. I'm involved with this esport thing. Mm-hmm. Like we're doing CS:GO tournaments, and so that was over the weekend. Got there at like 10:30 in the morning and didn't leave until 3:30 a.m. It was a gnarly one. Anyways, but yeah. So if you live in Salt Lake and you're listening, and you play CSGO or Heroes of the Storm, we're going to start the Hero of the Storm LAN in February. So if you're around here, come make a team. Come hang out.
That's awesome. I just remember playing CSGO. All we did at PAX when I was there with Darius, all we did was play CSGO pretty much the entire time. And
played a lot of that.
Darius just kept on just one-shotting me. Just headshots all the time. It's pretty great. Giz, what's been going on in your world, man?
A whole bunch, actually. I wasn't able to make the moose runs this weekend. Just had some other stuff come up, but testing out some stuff in the alpha, playing a lot of heroes, lots of stuff going on there. Yeah. And I don't know why you guys are so sad about Overwatch. I never really got to play it to where I was sad. I got that one weekend.
Yeah,
our one weekend together was nice, but I've been playing Paladins to kind of keep me from getting salty until I can
ease the pain.
Yeah, and you were saying that that's actually a pretty good game. It seems to be kind of coming along. So
it's it's really fun. It's definitely got some similarities to Overwatch, but it's definitely not the same game. It's more of a mix between Overwatch and Smite. If you guys have ever played that, it has a MOBA type feel to it. So It's a good game. You can tell it's definitely early on, but it's really fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. We talked about the Moose Run thing. Was there anything else before we need to? Oh, tomorrow night, if you're part of the CTR Guild, there is going to be a CTR Guild Town Hall tomorrow night, Wednesday, and that starts at 7 o'clock server, which is Pacific time. So 7 o'clock Pacific, and it's just, myself and the other officers. Darius, you'll be talking probably a little bit if you're there. I'm assuming you're going to be there.
He's going to be stuck in traffic.
Sure. Yeah.
You're going to be stuck in traffic again. But all the officers will just kind of give you the rundown of what's going on. We'll take your questions, all that kind of stuff. So make sure to stop by if you're part of the guild. And with that, I think we'll just move on into the Raiden news.
Calling all raiders from around World of Warcraft land. This is Raiding News.
Ah, yes, it's the Raiden News, where we check out what's happening for the news for raiders all around the World of Warcrafts. And let's just talk a little bit about Alpha, because I know that we've all been playing it. And we talked to Tovo and Mick last week, and that was really great. But we haven't heard from you guys yet. Tattva, Giz, we haven't heard from you guys. What have you been playing? How's it feeling? I know that there's been probably a couple of updates since we last did the show. So, Giz, let's start with you. What have you been playing?
So obviously the first thing I started out with was the Demon Hunter starting zone when that was the only thing available.
Yep.
Felt awesome, super cool. I loved how they feel. And then I have messed around. I've played through the Survival Hunter quest line to get your artifact weapon a couple times. And then I've tried out some Shadow Priest and some Mage as well. Ooh. And I love the feel of them so far. They are super different from what they were. And I think Blizzard's doing a really good job so far making each spec its own, which they've always talked about doing and stuff, but it's never really felt that way until now.
Right. And I know that there's still only a few of the different specs available. I think the only class that has all three specs available is DK. And then the only one that's not represented at all is Shaman. They're just like, no, we're not ready yet.
I need to get the Doom Hammer. I'm really looking forward to the Shaman.
I know. There's going to be spoilers galore there, so watch out. What did you think of Survival Hunter?
It was a blast, actually, which I was really surprised because I've never really been a melee DPS character before. I just never really liked them, but they did a really good job with it. Raptor Strike is back. The harpoon is really cool, flying around, and so it'll be a little hard to tell if I can play further along with it, but for right now, it's looking good.
Yeah, everybody's kind of keeping their eyes on that. They're keeping their eyes on the Outlaw Rogue and some of those other ones. Tattva, what did you get a chance to play? What different specs?
I've played a lot of them.
Okay. Well, that's right, because you and Tovo were doing stuff, right?
Yeah, we were kind of running around together and just cruising through things. We'd start, basically take it to the end of the artifact weapon and then move on to the next and move on to the next and kept going. And then we kind of got a little distracted because originally the map, so you do your artifact quest and then there's this quest where this map appears and you're supposed to pick where you start questing in the Broken Isles, and it was broken. But when we went through the Survival Hunter thing, the Hunter class hall is in High Mountain, and so we're just like, I wonder if we walk down the hill, are there going to be quests there? Yeah, and there's quests, and so kind of got distracted with that, and I don't know, found an awesome Murky quest, which was cool. We made a video about that.
That's right. So let's talk about this a little bit because you posted this last week. We kind of told a little bit about it, but there are spoilers here, so maybe I should play the spoilers. Go ahead and talk about this quest because it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So you end up in the far north shore of High Mountain. There's this little clan of Murlocs up there, and King Murgle from Wrath, the guy in Borean Tundra, what?
The guy
what
in the
BlizzCon
suit,
was that
right?
from? That suit, the costume, the Murloc costume suit. That was like from one of the first BlizzCons, right? That was a reward. Darius probably knows. He probably has one floating around. No. Anyways, but he's there, and I don't know, he's actually recruited Murky, and Murky's kind of hanging out with them, and then you go on these quests, and Murky follows you around in his little invincible bubble thing, and you like feed him. You like have to kill these pufferfish so he can get his pufferfish spell, and then you can get, you just go around, do that, convince a bunch of baby Murlocs to come help out, and then you actually get to play as Murky. But it's kind of cool because you get your new action bar when you become Murky, and it's the exact same 4 spells from Heroes of the Storm.
Yes,
which is
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
totally
super
awesome.
Cool.
That's like one of the best things ever. Is like when they kind of play between all the different games and stuff like that. So,
yeah. So I mean, it's really cool. Like you don't get the what is the shark one? Giz, you remember what that old's called? Where you the tentacles come up and he beats on him with the shark. Or a big fish or something.
I don't remember what it's called.
Anyways, but you have March of the Murlocs. And so it ties into the quest that you did before because you've convinced these baby Murlocs to come help you out. And so you cast a spell and all these baby Murlocs go blasting through the area. It's pretty funny, but...
Oh, it's Octograb.
Octograb. Nice.
Cool.
Nice. But
yeah, it was a really fun quest, though.
Yeah, it really looked like it. It was a great video, so go check it out over at the Line of Sight YouTube stuff. It's cool. It's very cool. Anything else that you wanted to talk about Alpha? I know that they finally added. Let me get rid of the spoiler alert thing. There we go. I know that they finally added in the Stormheim questing zone since our last show, I think, or at least maybe it's because they fixed the map. Then people could actually get to it. So they fixed the map so you could actually pick where you wanted to start, and then. If you wanted to go to Stormheim, you had to go first to the Violet Hold, do a little run through there, do a little scenario where you hook up with Sylvanas, and there's Gen Greymane, and there's a bunch of action and ships and things. And I'm just trying not to spoil the story part. And so that was pretty cool. And you tried this, right, Tad?
Yeah, it's just that starting zone, and like you're saying, like the quests, like you could get into Stormheim before, and there were quests available, but because this intro quest to that specific area wasn't there, a lot of it was gated off, and so some of it wasn't working and stuff, and so that's what the fix was, and so it opened up that area for everyone. But yeah, it's a cool little thing. I haven't done it on Horde yet. I did the Alliance side, and so yeah, Gen Greymane is there hanging out, and so you're running around with him a little bit. But
see, and I did the other side, and it was hanging out with Sylvanas. So that was kind of interesting. It was cool. It was great to see both those guys. They haven't been used all that much in the last expansions, many expansions. So that was cool. And then you get to Stormheim, and it actually kind of, at least on the Horde side, you have the apothecary look of things. It's very Northrendy, very kind of cool, dark green, things going on. So, I mean, it was very interesting. I didn't get very far after that, but yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff. I also know that they redid some, like, all the DK talents. Like most of them. Like I think I logged in and I was like going, where are all of my spells? What is going on? Yeah, they were all gone. They were all switching around. So I think there were like 2 that I had out of the, how many are there? Like 7 or something? Whatever. So that was good. And just a note on Shaman, why they're not ready yet. Because the Shaman Order Hall and artifact scenarios are not ready yet. That is according to the assistant test lead for WoW Quality Assurance, Zorbrix. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. Alpha is alpha. And then they sprang the news, Darius, today about something. What's going on with the alpha over the holidays?
They're taking it down. It's going to go bye-bye, which is sad. That's gone. Overwatch is gone. What's left?
Yep. Blizzard hates winter
fun.
Yeah, the Feast of Wintervale.
Yeah. No, they've likely they just don't want to have to maintain it and answer support questions and all that kind of stuff over the break, which I wouldn't either. I'd want to be on break. Yeah. So why not take it down, give it some needed work, and then bring it up, sometime in January and just make it better for everybody. I have no problem with it. I totally understand this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not bad. How much and maybe this is best for Giz. How much exploring have you done other than going through the questing side of things? Have you done much else?
Yeah, so mainly on the hunter side, I haven't gone looking for quests. I've seen some, but mainly just exploring the areas. What is it? High Mountain?
Yeah.
Name of the zone. Reminds me a lot of Grizzly Hills, which is my favorite zone. Mm-hmm. So it's excellent to see, and of course all the textures and stuff aren't complete right now, but it's going to be beautiful.
It's kind of fun going into Dalaran and just seeing gray, just seeing it just like gray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it looks really beautiful, and then you go, but it's gray. Guys.
Smooth, blocky gray.
Right.
I logged it in and out a couple times to make sure it wasn't like the texture's not loading or something like that.
Right.
So there's not a lot of warning until you actually walk in, and then it says something like test instance or test something.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of like quests and stuff like that where it says, oh, this is just a placeholder. Something else is going to happen here, but we're just moving you through because it's not ready yet.
There's of all the class halls, it has the Blizzard or under Blizzard company construction or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's the one for the rogues, I guess, in the Dalaran sewers where you take the portal down and it says that. It says like, under construction or something like that. And I was like, they don't know what they're talking about. So I jumped in it like 5 times just to make sure. It does not work. I can report that.
It does not work. It does not work. But did you guys see the so Trade Chat from Wowhead actually did a side-by-side comparison of Dalaran, the old Dalaran from Wrath and the new one from the Alpha. And it looks pretty different, actually, when you take a look at everything. Tattva, did you watch this video?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing, though, is like, I mean, side-by-side comparisons are always, it's stark how different things look and stuff. But, I mean, it's just weird, like, because when I experienced the Dalaran, the new Dalaran myself, I was just like, oh, sweet. It has the same vibe. It doesn't seem that different. But, yeah, it's crazy when you watch it in that kind of context. It's like, oh, okay, well, my memory's not that good, apparently.
Well, it's just a lot more full, right? I mean, it's just like got a lot more different things in it, people doing things. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more art. There's some cool lighting effects and stuff. I didn't really see anything too out there, though, as far as like big changes. Did anybody else? Like
besides a big gray,
other than the big gray structure in the middle.
There's NPCs in kind of weird spots, but I don't know if that's just they're there as alpha and that's a placeholder thing or what. So like the Mage Tower area, there used to be some portals in there, and now there's different people standing in there. Some of them are in odd spots. There's a few things that are off, but overall it feels like Dalaran.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't not feel like Dalaran except for I can't fly in it. So.
Yeah, that's broken, obviously.
Yeah, I logged in and I was like going, oh, I can fly in Dalaran. Sure. Yeah, of course I can. No, not so much.
Oh, one of the cool things though, that made it with this last build is the new dragon model. It's awesome. Oh, it's really good. So I mean, like, some of the quest lines have you hop on a dragon to go fly off to your class hall, and originally in the past it was this little cube that you would hop on, and so you're just like zooming through the air on this cube. It's pretty funny, but the new model's there, and it's awesome.
And they really look like anime. I mean, it's like an animated dragon. It's like how to train your dragon or whatever it is. It's got kind of like this cool. It's a very different head shape. I can't really describe it, but it looks really, really cool.
Has a little Deathwing in it. They're a little chinny, but it's awesome though.
Yeah.
Have you figured out, Tattva, how to get to the priest class hall?
No.
I can't even figure out how to get to Draenor, which is where it is. So I have yet to be able to see the class priest hall. I don't even know if you can. It's in Karabor.
you can get there. It's I believe there's a portal to it in the large gray area in the middle of Dalaran when you go down. I think that's how I got to it.
I checked. I couldn't find anything in there. There's not the dark portal didn't work for me, so I couldn't go through that. There was no portal in Orgrimmar because I did Horde side. I tried everything.
It's in Dalaran. I'm 99% sure, but I have been there.
Like a portal or something. Or
yeah, and it's much bigger than the Hunter class hall.
Well, that's because priests are better.
Whatever.
I mean, that's obvious.
There's no one in there because
they're all. You can't see them. Like they're hanging out at a cool priest party.
They're all at a cool priest party.
Yeah.
No, but it's cool. Like it has one. So like there's a big chamber, and then on one side there's a room that's like the holy side, and on the other side of the room there's another room that's obviously the shadow side, which is really cool.
Nice. Nice.
Cool.
I hear so many good things about all the different class fantasy stuff that's going on, class and spec fantasy that's going on. And maybe just talk a little bit about that. Maybe Tattva, I know that you saw a lot of the different classes and a lot of the different class halls. What was your take on it?
No, I mean, like every single time I've been on the show for the past since BlizzCon, basically, that this is the most exciting thing for me. Like, I love what they're doing. I love the direction they're taking it, just bringing the fantasy back to the classes, and they're doing a great job. Like, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun experiencing all the different starting quest lines for the artifact weapons and all that kind of stuff. And I'm glad I get to do it now because I'm not a very alty person.
Sure.
Like, I kind of stick with the one main and I just play it into the ground, basically. And yeah, so
you just say, no, we're just gonna go with this one and we'll be fine.
I'm busy. Leave me alone.
And you're also kind of a story guy too. So, I mean, have you found that the story's been pretty good? I mean, obviously there are some parts that we're skipping or whatever, but are you finding that the story's decent, at least in these opening quests?
Yeah, the stories are super awesome just because, like, I mean, of course, there's more like past lore situations, like paladins, you know what's coming, shamans, what's probably coming. Like, we don't know for sure. But anyways, moving on past that, like there's those big weapons that are iconic in the Warcraft universe, Doomhammer, Ashbringer. But the cool thing is there's all these new ones that they're trying to make a big deal, and they're actually doing a really good job of doing that. Like the Survival Hunter one, you're fighting that cat. I've done that one a few times too, and stuff. And they make a big deal out of it, and it's just a lot of fun seeing all the different.
Don't forget about flares, hunters. Yeah. Don't forget about flares. You need those.
Need them desperately.
Well, you don't actually need them, but you really want them.
It makes it a lot faster.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite. Like, I haven't gotten to experience like it fully yet, but the warrior starting experience, it's all Asgardian kind of like Odin's there and whatever. It's just cool. You go fly up into the halls of valor and stuff, and that's where the first dungeon is, and so it's really cool.
Right. Have any of you guys done the dungeons yet at all? I know that I haven't.
Sadly, no.
Well, it's I've seen the Fat Boss guides and stuff like that on those, and it looks really, really cool. It does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Fenrir and Heimdall and Odin, all those guys, they're all there. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. And I hear that like the Paladin opening quests are just amazing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing after we come back from the break. I mean, it'll be when did they say when it was going to be open again? Just sometime after the new year or something?
Sometime. They
said
Overwatch, they said closer to February, but this they didn't say.
Yeah, and then they pushed Overwatch back. They said, it might not be mid-January. It might be more like February. So.
Darn.
I know. They keep on pushing
I was
that
really
back.
looking forward to playing it again.
Once again. Yes. Once. Anything else that you guys want to discuss about the alpha? Because, I mean, there's not a lot going on in game. I mean, we're just kind of winding down for the year. So if there's anything else in alpha that you want to talk about, let's talk about it now. And and see what's going on. Otherwise, we can move on to questions.
I like that they're giving us alpha, and I don't recall seeing an expansion alpha that was like this before, where it was basically just like a taste. You couldn't even swap to other specs. Never mind, do their artifact quests or equivalents in other expansions. Normally a beta or an alpha is just kind of, here's everything, but maybe some zones don't work. But this is very much, here's a few things. Most stuff doesn't work.
Right.
Which has been, it's been fun and also a little frustrating to play because you want to do more, but you can't. So then you got to remember, it's just an alpha. I can only do a couple things, but it's very different. I just worry that they're spending more time gating the alpha for people to play than they are working on the game for final release. Well, there's always that trade-off between those.
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily gating it so much. They're just like releasing it as stuff gets done, aren't they?
Well, they're having to put things down that say like, hey, this doesn't work, or right. Placeholder things and all that kind of stuff, and all of that takes time from doing other things, from working on content. So I just don't want them to spend a lot of time doing those kind of things, right. and not making the final product just that little bit better.
Well, like some of the stuff that I was seeing, like when you talk about the opening scenario for Stormheim, when you want to go there, you go into the scenario, and if you're Horty, you go and you talk to Sylvanas, and she kind of leads you around the ship, or that's what's supposed to happen. But they have a little, as part of the quest, they just have a, hey, here's what's going to happen. We just haven't tagged in the movements yet. We kind of have the voice stuff going. We have some of this other stuff kind of happening. We just don't have all the finishing touches. So something like that is like, that's not really an issue. I think it's when you get into other zones and stuff like that, and where they're not like done at all. Shaman class hall, the scenario is not done, and it's fine that it's not done. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, oh, that's a lot more work. That's a lot more work. That's not just some kind of movement thing. That's everything. So, So I don't know.
I mean, this could really just be an older build, that they dropped on us, and it's just as simple as that. Like, I mean, like Darius said, they have to do work, like as far as putting in this is a placeholder, this is a placeholder. But I imagine the game's in a much farther along state than what we have access to. I mean, obviously, but
it always is. And and for those guys that have been to BlizzCon and talked to, either the community managers or any of the devs, they're like, they are 3 builds down. They're still working on stuff. And I think I was talking to Lore. I was talking to Josh Allen, and he was saying, yeah, I have a really hard time keeping track of what's live and what's not. What's real and what isn't, and so I just have a tendency to keep my mouth shut when it comes to all this stuff, because I don't want to get in trouble. So but yeah, it's a good time, and I think when it comes back from break, they'll have more new stuff, the shaman stuff, maybe more classes and specs to check out, just as far as gameplay goes. I don't know. It's been a lot of fun, though, seeing everybody do this. You guys, streaming this stuff, and kind of everybody around the podcasting and streamer land kind of going nuts with this stuff. So it's been.
I wonder if anyone's actually ground their way to 110 already. I know, like a couple, probably a week and a half.
I think you can only go to like 104 or something like that.
Really? They haven't stopped?
Yeah. I think they have you stop. It's like, nope, you're done. There's no more stuff for you. Get out, please. That's what I heard from Wowhead anyway.
Yeah, my Demon Hunter's 102, I think. I don't know.
Nice. Did you go through and do other stuff with the Demon Hunter then? Or just the starting zone?
Well, I went through the starting zone, but then when we were going to start questing when we discovered that the Hunter starting area, or the Hunter class hall, was in High Mountain, and that you could quest there, we were going to go and just keep going. And so I just hopped off of Dalaran and floated past Suramar, and then just got on my water strider and went up the river and crashed, and then got back on and crashed and got
Right.
back on and crashed and just
Right.
kept going up. And so finally made it to High Mountain on my Demon Hunter. It was, so.
Cool.
Then just started questing around up there on him.
Awesome. And yeah, I see it in the chat room, and I know that a lot of people are antsy for the, for the alpha to come their way, and I want more people to get in there too. So I'd love to have more people to play with and hang out in there and break stuff. I think that's the key thing.
Break all the things.
Break all the things. Wear a crash helmet because it's going to happen. All that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Well, let's get to some questions about other things other than alpha. Here we go.
We've got mail.
We do. And if you have a question about anything for us about rating or anything else, just let us know. We'll try to answer it on the show. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com, or you can call our raid line 612-787-RAID. And Darius, can you take this first letter, please?
This is from Kiki, Brewmaster Monk, Area 52 Horde.
Yeah.
And they say, hello, CTR crew. So I had to take a pretty long break from WoW due to life issues. The last time I played was when Emperor's Rise was current, and we were collecting the 125 Abrogator stones for the ring.
Alligator
Now
stones.
Now that I'm back, there's a shipyard, several new raid wings, the jungle quest flying, all in caps with an exclamation point.
Yeah.
I'm so confused as to where to start. I finally see how it feels to jump into WoW and not know where to go, what to do. Can you help a brother Horty out? Where should I start focusing my efforts to get back up to speed? I'd like to get my Brewmaster Monk as geared as possible, then go back and finish all the quests in each zone that I haven't finished. Thanks for the help.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what this person should do to get geared up first. That sounds like that's priority. And then where to go from there. And Giz, let's start with you. What do you think? What are some ideas that you can throw out there?
Well, Blizzard added in a while ago. I don't remember when exactly, but they did a really good job with I think it's called the Adventure Journal.
Yeah.
And it should pop up like right when you hop back in. And if it doesn't, there's a button for it somewhere. But it looks at your level, your item level, gives you things for increasing your item level for it's dungeons, questing zones, PvP, and it's easy to queue is just clicking on whatever you feel like doing. So I think Blizzard's done a really good job with that.
Cool. Tattva, do you have something other than the Adventure Journal? Where would you start in something like that?
I mean, as far as specifically, I would hop into Tanan Jungle. Like a lot of those reputations you mentioned, flying, you're going to need those to get your flying, and they also will drop the little baleful items that you can get, like they're level 695, right?
Well, they can get up to 695, I think. Now they're a little bit more flexible, right? So they're adjustable.
Anyways, and so that would be a good way to get some gear. But then I would start use that to get your item level up a little bit. I'm not sure where you're at right now, but as soon as you can start queuing for mythics, there's very good players that are geared out and are queuing for mythics just to be getting their those BOA trinkets and also just the Valor for each week. And so it's fairly easy to get carried in those right now. And so same thing there, like the bosses will drop anywhere from a 685 to a 725 item level item. And then that's a good way to gain Valor, gain some loots.
Yep.
And then just looking for raid, just plow your way through those.
Yep. And then
you'll gear out super fast.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then also, Darius, the ring has catch-up stuff going on with it, right? Well.
I don't know if it will catch you your first tune-up, but most certainly if it's your second or third, yeah.
Right.
So you're still going to have to do those.
So you still have to do LFR / one raid a week, depending on, what you're running. And probably LFR is going to be the easiest for the last raid. But for HFC, I mean, there's groups getting together all the time, right?
Yeah, and it's to the point of the expansion to where really LFR normals fairly good groups for looking for group and stuff. It's not too much of a pain to hop in a pug group now.
That's always nice. Well, especially for the last one. It should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's actually probably good timing for LFR, just because those initial dungeons like High Mall and Foundry were probably dead. before a couple weeks ago when they introduced this whole Valor cap thing.
Yeah.
Or the Valor grind. And so there's a lot of people running all the instances still. And so you'll be able to catch up with your legendary ring quest lines super fast just through LFR.
Yep. And then you got the Valor, so then you can upgrade that way and get it all geared up. And it's going to be a slog, though. Don't get me wrong. It's, end game, you can say, oh yeah, it's going to be super easy, but until you get all those baleful items and until you get, your gear kind of up to par, it's going to take a while. So just be ready for it. Be ready for the grind, my man. All right, next.
He can also try to find one of those moose carry runs.
Oh yeah,
if he can find one like Convert to Mythic's doing, like we're doing. That's a shot at possible loot off of the final boss of current content on Heroic, and you could coin it as well.
Right.
I mean, that'll help. Every little bit helps.
I also know some groups are doing full Heroic carries as well through HFC, where they say, I saw this on, I think it was in the guild. They said, we're going to start with Archimond. We're going to start there, and we're going to work our way backwards. I'm like, I don't know how you're going to do that, but they said they were going to start there, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that's fine. And then so people will be able to get geared up, and people will be able to kind of get a little carried in along the way, which is always kind of nice because a lot of those Heroic teams are kind of have it on farm, so it should be good. Any other suggestions before we move on? Okay. Well, the next question is from Spencer Downey, and he says, which Legion Alpha class are you currently enjoying the most? Darius, have you played anything other than Priest?
I played a Horde Priest and an Alliance Priest. Are they different?
No.
Was it a gnome?
No, it was not a gnome.
It was not a gnome.
I'm going to go with Priest. I mean, it's a tough choice, but I'm going to say Priest.
All right. Gizmo, how about you? Out of the few that you played, what did you really enjoy most?
So I really enjoyed the Survival Hunter. A lot of it had to do because I was able to play a gnome, but I really enjoyed the Priest as well. They had the Shadow Priest, and I hadn't played a whole lot of Shadow Priest before, but I noticed it feels really different. So they don't have mana anymore. They have Insanity. Whenever you're casting spells, you're gathering up Insanity. And then you kind of, once it tops off, you go into Insanity mode or whatever. And it's a really cool change, and it feels really different from what I've known from previous Shadow Priests. And it's really fun.
Cool. Tattva, is there one that's... Because I know that you played Druid. But there was, and I know that only balance is available right now. So
yeah,
it's not really it's not your spec. It's not your spec of choice, or at least it hasn't been lately. Was there one spec or class that you've seen that's awesome right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've all been a lot of fun. Warriors are extremely strong right now. It basically seems that they're incapable of death. Basically, like you just can't die with them.
Nice.
And so that's always a good thing, feeling overpowered. But as far as like my personal preference, I would say I played the most out of the Demon Hunter, but probably had the most fun with the Ret Pally.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I know that so the only ones that I've really played is Survival Hunter, which I had a lot of fun with. That was actually really good, and it felt really clean for a lot of it. I mean, it just felt really solid as far as like a gameplay. And then I also played Frost DK for a while, and that one felt empty, but I think they redid some stuff for today's build, and I haven't played around with it too much. It felt like buttons were empty on my bars, like I didn't have enough buttons. And
I had the same thing with Shadow Priest.
And I think that they've kind of expanded that a little bit on this latest build, so I'm kind of interested to see exactly what that looks like. But yeah, it's tough when you don't have the runes and you don't have the runic power to do anything. It's always kind of that dead zone for DKs, and I was finding myself there a lot. So I don't know exactly what was going on.
No, it's funny though, because I found myself having the most trouble with Survival Hunter, which you think would be fine because I've been playing Hunter since vanilla. But because it changed so much, I was horrible with it. It took me forever to figure out the rotation. Unlike
it's so cool.
It's awesome.
It's a great rotation because you don't have any focus builders.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't, you're like, I can't build focus, so I guess I'm just gonna shoot off crap when I can.
This is lit up. I'm gonna hit that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's the whack-a-mole system. No, it's actually pretty good. I like it. All right. Next question. Oh, and I'll ask this one as well. This is from Diecast. Did the removal of 10-man mythic heroic from previous expansions, right? Did that help or hurt the raiding community as a whole rather than just for Race to World First? Okay, so this is kind of, did 10-man mythics, with the lack of 10-man mythics for Warlords, is that, did that hurt or help the raiding community? And Darius, I want to start with you because I know that you kind of have a history with this question a little bit. I know you like 20-mans. So.
Yeah. I think overall it helped. I think there was a lot of growing pains, teams going from 10 to 20 or even 25 down to 20. Mm-hmm. But Blizzard being able to focus on one size raid allowed them to, I think, create much better encounters, much tighter encounters, encounters where everyone felt useful. I really think they've done a really good job. And we've said it 100 times on the show, the raids are very, very good right now. This whole expansion, the raids have been very good. And I think that's because of this 20-man mythic. They're starting there with 20 people and they're tuning it that way. And then they're doing the rest. And you can kind of see how fights drop off from heroic and the way they scale, and normal even more so. And they seem less fun and less exciting when you've got 30 or 12 or 10 people in there or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I think this has definitely been a very positive thing. I think it hurt at the beginning, but now that we're here, I think it's so much better. And I'm glad they did it.
Okay. All right. Tattva, how about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like the status of the raiding community now. Just as far as like paying attention to the races and stuff, like there was always the, 10-man versus 25-man, which is better, sure, which is harder, who's the real number one guild in the world, all that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of like streamlined everything and, brought it back to, one race.
Sure. But what do you think about, what it did overall, other than the Race to World First, which, we can kind of say, yeah, for the race, it makes sense. Let's just have it be one team size or whatever. But for those guys that aren't in the top, half of 1% or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What do you think it did for those guys? Was it still good? Was it still a good thing overall?
For the rest of us?
In your opinion.
Yeah, I think like this flex system, and they're implementing it in other ways. Like they're making the entire world flexible now. And I don't know, I think it's just a really good thing, just being able to take the group you want. Like you don't have to have people sitting out. You can, you have 10 to 30 spots open. And so the more the merrier, or, it's not such a detriment to your raid if someone's missing. It just adjusts and it's fine. There's the key roles obviously and stuff, but people have off specs and it's not that big of a deal to fill those spots. There's always someone who can tank or who can, off heal maybe, who knows, but I just think it's better for the community. There's less segregation and leaving people behind because they're not geared enough or whatever, it's just, it's fun.
Yeah. And Giz, I know that teams even like Convert to Mythic, which have been going along pretty good. Those guys are on a break because of attendance issues and whatnot. What do you think? It's tough doing the Mythic runs all the time for teams that are maybe a little bit more casual or on a smaller server or something along those lines. Do you still think that? Do you agree with these guys that Mythic 20-man Mythic is the way to go?
I agree with Darius on the fact that the raid encounters are better because they only have to tune to the one size. However, it's I think the growing pains of this expansion will be better in Legion if they continue to go this route.
Yeah.
But it does become detrimental if somebody can't make it, if you're not able to get a bench, because 20 people is a lot of people. I know on my old guild before I joined CTR back in Cataclysm that we barely had enough to man a 10-man raid team, so let alone a 20. And as people are adjusting to that, it will get better. And I also think it's kind of easy for us to look at it and say, yeah, it's fine because we are in a fantastic raiding community with 10 sub guilds now.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit harder for us to see that for the smaller guilds putting 20 people together. Plus, you'll actually want 24 to 25 in case someone can't make it to sit in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and if you guys are having trouble finding a mythic team, not enough raiders, there's plenty of room in Convert to Raid.
There is actually. We have more room, and and I know that people are busy coming here right before Legion. So,
and also enabling the cross realm for Mythic now, that will take some of the weight off. Like, I mean, if that had gone live before we made the decision to stop raiding, that we probably still would be raiding right now, I imagine.
Right. Well, you still are. I mean, you're doing the moose runs.
Yeah.
Crying out loud. So you're still doing some stuff, which is
what
good.
About cross-faction raiding?
People talk about that, and then they're like, "Oh, and then CTR guild should have a horde side as well." And then I'm like, I don't know. We made a decision. It's difficult enough running 10 sub guilds on one side of things. I can't imagine doing 20. No.
And for you hordes out there, it only hurt for like the first year for me to have to play Alliance. So you'll get over it, 12, 14 months.
Well, because we switched over in Miss Pandaria, so I was always going to the wrong shrine for a long time.
I constantly.
It was horrible. It's horrible. I think it took me like 5 or 6 times before I went, you know what, maybe I shouldn't go there. I don't know. I think I agree with you, Giz, that, I mean, as far as it goes with Mythic stuff, the growing pains were real, and they've kind of continued throughout this expansion. And I think that now we have, our expectations are set a little bit better, maybe. And I think we'll probably be in a pretty good spot for Legion, but it still kind of hurts a little bit if you can't get that group together, man.
Yeah,
it hurts. It hurts real bad.
I mean, Mythic is a commitment, and
it is
to find 20 people with that commitment.
It's a commitment, and if you're on a casual schedule, like Convert to Mythic and like the Asparagus Initiative before that, I mean, if you're on a 2 or 3 night commitment, it's a lot harder.
Yeah,
it's even harder. So there.
Yeah, and I mean the other interesting thing too is like it's like these raids have a lifespan as far as like interest level goes. Like the higher end guilds, they're jumping straight into Mythic almost as soon as it's open. I mean, they are. You know, they're in there, they're killing the bosses. Whereas a lot of the more casual raid teams, like they go through that same progression. Slamming their heads into that brick wall in heroic, and they go clear through, and then they finally make it and kill the last boss. And they're just like, oh my gosh, we have to start over again. And like they've already been in there killing these bosses for months and months, and so it's just after a few months the interest begins to wane, and so it really doesn't matter like that. Those issues of attendance will creep up on you. Like back when the raid first releases, people are skipping their real life activities to raid because they're so excited about it. But a couple months down the road, they're just like, I'm gonna go to this ultimate frisbee game instead of raiding tonight because that's what I do when I'm Dairies.
Who would do that?
No, it's good. And now we're starting to see, like you were saying before, now we're starting to see teams pop up again in Mythic mode. We're starting to see kind of the second round of teams kind of coming in and saying, you know what, we were a heroic team and we've done all of that stuff. We've farmed all the gear for ourselves, and now it's just time to have some fun. Let's have some fun in Mythic, and let's do this thing. And I think that's kind of cool to see that happening as well. So it can happen. It's just, it takes time. So All right, we have. Let's not do any more questions because I know that we have a lot in the BattleNet news. So
yes.
So maybe we should just get to that. BattleNet news. This is where we take a look at the big headlines from around the rest of the Blizzard universe. And up first, let's talk about Overwatch a little bit because director Jeff Kaplan told Eurogamer that they're trying to figure out progression, among other things, during the break, and that's maybe why they're going until February. Very sad. It's very, very sad. Yeah. What would you now? He said that they were going to be focused on cosmetic rewards. He thought that would be cool, and that they're still not sure about whether or not they're going to try to monetize it after the launch or not. You know, if they're going to have like a store or something like that in there. Mm-hmm. But what would you guys like to see out of progression for Overwatch? Do you guys have any thoughts on where they could go, where they should go with progression? What would you like to see as rewards? Darius, do you have any thoughts on this stuff?
I mean, I like what they said. I think that progression is going to be it's going to be purely cosmetic, hats and skins and sprays and whatever else that they're going to add to the game. And they're not going to be gating abilities and all these other things behind progression. I think that's the correct way to do it when you're charging for the game like they are. And they also said that it's going to be you're going to be able to do it, unlock everything if you devote the time. If you with more skill, you unlock things faster. But if you just give it time, you'll get everything. And I think that's the correct way to do it too. I couldn't think of a better way to do it really right now. And I'd love to see unlock some hats and stuff that I don't have to buy through progression.
Dang it, that's what I want.
He does love his hats, that Darius.
Yeah.
He loves his hats. Tattva, how about you? What would be some of the stuff that you'd like to see as far as progression in that game? Because it's kind of tough.
I mean, a lot of the progression, like in competitive games, a lot of the progression is the rank system. I know there's not everyone's not a full-on competitive shooter type person, but I mean, there's going to be leagues and different things for you to rank up through and stuff. You might not be Master League player or anything like that, but I mean, just that sense of achievement as you climb the ladder, like that's a huge part of competitive games, whether it's a MOBA or a shooter like this. And then, like Darius said, just all the cosmetic stuff. That's awesome. And whether you can earn it in game or a little bit of both, like a lot of the MOBAs, you can either earn it through playing or just pay money for it. But I mean, the interesting thing is like, I would probably hope that there's a market, like a shop where you can buy skins, because that means that they can invest more time into making these skins awesome. Like whether you can, you yourself buy it or not, like it's still a cool thing to see a lot of awesome skins. Like, yeah.
I mean, like the Heroes stuff that they have right now. I mean, Pajamather is one of my favorites.
Pajamather's awesome. And Giz was just showing us a video of Space Leoric, who basically has a voice pack like Darth Vader and stuff. Like,
so cool.
I mean, and that's that model you pay for it. I mean, you didn't pay for the game, but you pay for the skin. So, I mean, it's just an interesting thing, but I'd like them to be able to devote as much resources to the creation of Overwatch skins as they have for Heroes.
Right. And maybe make those skins maybe a little bit cheaper as far as dollar amount, but the same amount of in-game effort or something like that, so that, whether they do gold or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're going to pay for the game, you might want to watch it with the in-game store stuff a little bit. Gizmo, thoughts on that?
See,
you're a big Heroes guy.
Yeah, I'm a Heroes guy. So I've really fallen in love with the free-to-play system, and supporting the game through in-game purchases, which I have supported the heck out of Blizzard and Heroes. I don't even want to know how much. So the fact that this is the one-time purchase that's looking to be right now worries me a little bit, only because I want Blizzard to continue to invest in this, not kind of push it off to the side once it's, sold its influx of copies or whatever. So I hope they do have some skins and stuff that you can purchase, and then maybe skin tints through progression. But again, that's worrisome because people will be very upset if there's going to be a store when they paid for this game.
Yeah. That is going to be tough. It better be like a 99-cent store.
Yeah.
It would be like that. That'd be great.
Well, I mean, that's like what Giz was saying is he spent way more than $60 on Heroes. He didn't have to buy the game, but he spent way more than that. And so it's keeping, I mean, it's hard because to keep things in perspective when, like you did pay for this new game and stuff, and now you can buy more stuff from this game. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, people have League of Legends accounts out there that they've spent, probably thousands of dollars in skins. It's just how it worked. Like, that's the new model for things. It's just weird, but people are like, yeah, I'm fine paying $200 over the course of like half a year rather than, I'm happy doing that, but make me pay $60 and then make me pay another $4.
I don't know about happy, but I'll do it. Damn it, because I want all the good stuff. I want all the cool stuff, man. That's what I want. Speaking of cool stuff, we were just talking about the Darth Vader Leoric and stuff like that over in the Heroes land. But there's some other stuff too that's brand new today, right?
Yes,
Giz?
absolutely.
What's going on?
So Lunara came out today, which is the Dryad ranged assassin that they announced at BlizzCon, and I think I've played 14 or 15 games with her today and got her up to level 7. Wow. And I can say she's super fun, very different because as her, you don't want to focus attack somebody. It's all about spreading your damage out, getting those poisons out. And she's extremely squishy with not many escape mechanics until you get to your ult selection. But super fun. But the more important thing that came today is the first phase of their new matchmaking system, which we have been waiting for forever.
Yeah, this is something, and I know Mick has been kind of harping on this for months, I want to say. That's what I feel like. I mean, he was kind of on this thing in September, October, where the MMR just kind of fell apart, and people were getting, in ranked play, people were getting put in with people that were not anywhere close to where they were.
Yeah,
right?
15 to 20 ranks difference. It was insane. And I mean, quick match was just as bad. You could be a level 40 account going up against a level 4 or 5 account, and it was just a mess. But they explained at BlizzCon why this was. They used the same matchmaking system that they used in StarCraft, which worked great for 1v1. But they found that was not working for this. So they just rebuilt the matchmaking system. And in the 14, 15 games I played today, it's been amazing. I think all but 2 of the matches ended where each team was within a level of each other, and they were back and forth matches, super exciting. And then the games that didn't end like that, I think maybe we were up 3 levels in one game and 2 in the other. And it was still fairly close for the majority of the match. So it's looking good. This is the first phase. They still have things they want to improve on, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And hopefully before too long, we'll hop into some actual ranked seasons.
Ooh, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So what exactly did they do? So they said essentially was you may have to wait longer for games while we try to match up people.
Yes. So the old system grabbed a whole bunch of people and just to build a match, and then they started picking and swapping people to make a better match. And that's why you got the fast queue times, but the lopsided matches now, instead of creating a match at the beginning, they are building a match specifically. And they also added in to where if you have a warrior on your team, you're not going to go up against another team that doesn't have a warrior. So it's taking a little bit longer, but I think my queue times today were anywhere from 2 minutes to 4 minutes, which is a little long right now.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible, and I would definitely rather wait the extra 2 minutes or so to play a super fun quality match than get in and just not have fun.
Right. Well, I mean, I've waited a hell of a lot longer than that for LFR, and some of those runs have really been bad.
Yeah.
So, waiting 45 minutes in a DPS queue. Oof. I'll take 4 minutes. That's fine.
Yeah, and it's
as a WoW player, I'm totally cool with that.
So if you guys are new, now is a good time to check it out. Well, there's a lot of Smurf accounts right now, so maybe it's not a great time
for those guys. For those guys that don't know, what's a Smurf account?
So the Smurf account is for when a veteran player makes a brand new account, starts out at level 1, so they're going to be getting matched up against brand new players, and most likely demolishing, and the brand new player's not going to have any fun. But this is happening because they implemented a recruit a friend system to get the Vulture mount for StarCraft, where you have to recruit 4 people that get their accounts to level 10. So instead, people are making new accounts and leveling them to 10.
And they said that they were changing that, though, right? Are they changing that?
No, I have not
They
heard.
said it seemed broken, I thought, on Twitter or something like that.
They agreed that it didn't work the way they thought because veteran players have already invited all of their friends to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, where am I supposed to get, all my friends that want to play this game are playing? So, but they did come out and pretty much say, we understand their Smurf accounts. That's okay, as long as you aren't botting or AFKing. So they've kind of given the go ahead for people to Smurf this out.
That's weird.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset, but it's everyone wants that Vulture mount.
That's
they really
weird.
want it.
Well, I mean, you're going to find Smurfs regardless.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not as many, but.
But now everybody's going to have like 5. So,
and you get these accounts for Recruit a Friend. You get Raynor for free, and then once you get level 10, you get Sylvanas for free. So that's, I mean, again, good time to get in the game for that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And apparently you can just ask anybody, hey, are you playing Heroes? I want to be your friend, your Recruit a Friend.
Yeah.
And they won't need a Smurf account. Another one.
Let me know, because I really don't want to do that.
Right. At Gizmozord on Twitter.
Yes. Exactly.
So, do that. Anything else as far as any of the games really for Blizzard that you guys wanted to discuss? Because I mean, we're winding down here. So
yeah, I know. So Diablo hasn't gotten much love, right? Because there was one panel or at BlizzCon or something,
right?
But there's actually a lot going on in the new patch. I don't have all the specifics and stuff, but I know they're coming out with their test realm and stuff. So you guys can have to check that out.
Is this what is it? What's the patch number? Is it
2.4.0?
Yeah,
I believe. But like a whole bunch. They're adding like set dungeons and again new areas to check out. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, it's always cool. Diablo's just like a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Let's just play the hell out of it. Get all the loot you can, and especially during these lull times, it's awesome.
Yeah,
right?
Lull time.
Lull times.
Lull.
The problem with Diablo is when
lull.
I jump back into it, like 4 days just disappear.
Yeah, really,
Disappear from me.
really. Yeah, I know what that's like. Yep, it happens. All right. Well, then I think we're gonna get out of here. Do we have any reviews this week? Here, I'm gonna play.
No, we do not.
That's all right. That's quite all right. We've heard a lot on YouTube. I don't know if you checked out our YouTube page, but we have a lot of folks weighing in over there. And
I have YouTube comments purposely turned off. Actually,
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But anybody have a shout out, a special Wintervale shout out, or New Year's whatever? Tattva, go ahead.
I have one.
Yeah.
For The Force Awakens on Thursday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was never even mentioned.
I know. We haven't even said anything about that.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Yeah, just don't shout it out after you see it. Don't shout anything out.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's actually Luke's dad. What?
Oh.
No. Dumbledore is not in Star Wars, I heard. He's not in the new one. So
Jar Jar Binks?
Jar Jar is a Sith Lord, isn't he? Isn't that the way it goes?
I read that story. It's convincing. I think he might be.
Yeah, he might be.
Oh man, I derailed that hardcore, didn't I?
You
Sorry, guys.
certainly did. Hey, I want to thank you guys, Tattva, Gizmo, Darius, of course, all the guys in the chat room, and all the guys listening to us wherever the heck you are. Thank you so much for checking out CTR this year. We really appreciate it. I know that we have a bunch of new faces and a bunch of new opinions and all this kind of stuff. And it's really been great to get to know you, all you guys, over the course of the last, 5-6 months, something like that. And we got to all hang out at BlizzCon. That was amazing.
Yes.
But big shout out to everybody for all that you do for the show, and thank you. And happy Winter Veil and happy New Year. We won't be doing any special shows this year because it's a lot of work, and I got family coming in. I won't have any time, I won't have any time to do it.
I'll try to set up my webcam again so you guys can watch it snow.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So it's like a couple years ago. He just set up his webcam so you could watch it snow. But
I
of
just
course,
pointed
now
it into my driveway, and there was so many people watching it just snow.
But now you're in California, so that's not going to happen.
Well, if it does, I'll turn it on. How
All
about
right.
that?
Speaking of turning it on, I have to turn on this music. Right there. Oh my gosh. We cannot do this show without all of you guys at home and in the chat room and of course on the show. Thank you for taking the time to be a part of the conversation. Thank you for giving us questions and talking to us and giving us feedback and all that kind of stuff. Feel free to join in on the party however you can. You can email us at converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call us and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid or individually. Right, Darius?
You can follow Pat Crane at Pat Crane with a K. You can follow me at FordMine. You can follow Tattva at Los_gaming. That's _gaming in Spanish.
Right.
And Gizmo is Gizmozord. That's Gizmo with a G, not a J.
All right. Off the rails right at the end. You can join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have videos, we have audios, we have links for raiders, we have a bunch of other stuff for the guild, and so much more. It's all over at converttoraid.com. For the live shows, you can head to converttoraid.com/live, or you can go to Alpha Geek Radio, which we are streaming on right now. We're also on iTunes and now Google Play. Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Look out.
Is that live now?
Yeah, it's live. It's live for podcasts. You can get in there. You can get Lords of the Storm in there.
We are. I just didn't know it was live yet.
I think it's live. They said we were in. So okay. I'm like, all right, we're in. Good. I like that. Before we go, anything you want to plug for over the holidays that you're doing or whatever? How's Lords of the Storm doing, by the way?
It's
Gizmo?
doing fantastic, actually. So the community, we have a Discord channel, and the community is growing a ton. I think we're up to like 250 members.
Awesome.
There's generally between 40 and 50, at least 40 and 50 people on at any time, pretty much.
Cool.
And we've actually, if you guys aren't doing anything over the holidays and you're playing some heroes, pretty much like at least 4 nights a week, we get some custom matches together. And a lot of times, one of the Lords of Storm guys will cast it, and we'll have a guest caster on and stream them. So
that's awesome. That's great. Tattva, you doing anything big over the holidays?
Hibernating
underneath the many feet of snow that are now.
Feet of snow.
Yeah. How about you, Darius? Doing anything big?
Tobo and I are going to go visit Tattva, but we haven't told him yet.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
We'll hibernate together.
It's snowing there. I'm going to change my mind.
I hope you like Snuggles. Because it's going to be snuggle time over at Tattva's because he's hibernating. That's it. All right. Well, thanks you guys. And we will see all of you guys out there next year in 2016. Oh, my gosh. So be looking for us. Be watching the tweeters and all that kind of stuff. And if we do any live streaming, we'll make sure to put it on there. So for all the guys at Convert to Raid, Happy New Year. Happy Winter Veil. Happy Holidays. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.